Hello everyone. Once again welcome to our physics class. Hope you all are fine over there. Children, in the previous session we had derived the most famous Lensmaker's formula. It's very important derivation. You must practice that derivation thoroughly. Today we are going to discuss diffraction through a prism. And you had already studied in your class 10 physics, whenever white light passes through prism, it splits into 7 colors. Its component colors, that is Vichya. And also you had studied array diagram showing the refraction of light through the prism. So we are going to study all those concepts in more detail. So let's get started with today's session. One more session will be there, and in that session we will discuss about optical instruments. Okay, children? Children, as discussed in our introductory video, let's discuss about refraction by prism. So here you can see a prism, and usually the traditional shape for a prism is triangle, and also it's not necessary that it's always made of glass. It can be of plastic or fluoride or any type of material like that. Okay, however, its main property is that it refracts light. So this is a prism A, B, C, that is prism, and this A is known as angle of prism. Angle formed between two inclined surfaces, or the angle formed between two refracting surfaces is known as angle of prism. Now here you can see PQ. PQ is the incident ray, and this ray PQ is incident on the face AB of the prism. Now at the point of incidence you can consider a normal. So this red dotted line represents the normal, and this brown ray indicates the incident ray, and this is the angle between incident ray and normal. So this is angle of incidence. Now at this phase there is a change in the refractive index, because this will be a rarer medium, usually air or something like that, and this will be a denser medium. So whenever light ray enters from rarer to denser medium, it bends and it bends towards the normal. So this will be the refracted ray, and this is the angle between refracted ray and the normal. So this is angle of refraction R1, and this is the next boundary or the next phase where the refraction occurs. This is AC, and this refracted ray is incident on the phase AC, and here again it suffers refraction, because at this point light ray enters from a denser medium to rarer medium. So the refracted light bends away from the normal. So here at this phase, this is the normal. This red dotted line represents the normal, and the refracted ray bends away from the normal, and this is the emergent ray. RS is the emergent ray, and this is the angle between emergent ray and the normal. So this is angle of emergence E. And here we have two angle of refraction. R1 is the first angle of refraction, R2 is the second angle of refraction, and these two normals meet together at the point N. So N is the point where both the normals are made to intersect. So this is our figure. Okay, now here we need to consider some geometry in order to obtain an expression for the refractive index of the prism and also for the angle of deviation of the prism. So before that, you must mark the angle of deviation in this figure. So what is angle of deviation? Angle of deviation is the angle between the emergent ray and the incident ray. So here this is our incident ray, and in order to mark the angle of deviation, just extend this incident ray backwards. So this is our incident ray, and this is our emergent ray. Again extend this emergent ray backwards. Now here we can see one angle, and this is the angle between incident ray and emergent ray. So this is our angle of deviation D. Sometimes delta is also used in some of the textbooks. Okay. So this is angle of deviation, angle between incident ray and emergent ray. Now, first we are going to derive an expression for angle of deviation D. So for that, we need to consider some quadrilaterals and triangles in this figure. So which is the quadrilateral here? Children, we are considering the quadrilateral A, Q, N, R. Okay, A, Q, N, R. This is the quadrilateral. See, A, Q, N, R. Now this is angle of prism, and this is the point Q, this is the point R, this is N. And you know, in a quadrilateral, sum of opposite angles will be 180. So here the opposite angle is angle A and angle QNR. Okay, angle A and another opposite angle is angle QNR. This is QNR. So angle A plus angle QNR is equal to 180 degree. So in quadrilateral, A, Q, N, R, angle A plus angle Q and R is equal to 180 degree. Okay. Next, consider the triangle Q and R. So this is the triangle Q and R. So let's go to the figure, triangle Q and R. And we know that the sum of all the angles in a triangle is equal to 180 degree. Okay. So in triangle Q and R, sum of all angles, so angle R1 plus R2 plus QNR, again R1, R2, another angle is angle QNR. So sum of all these three angles will be 180 degrees. So R1 plus R2 plus angle QNR is equal to 180 degree. Okay. Now from the first equation, angle QNR is equal to 180 degree minus angle A. And let this be our first equation. Now from this expression, angle QNR is equal to 180 degree minus R1 plus R2. Isn't it? So let this be our equation number 2. Now just look at the LHS of equation 1 and 2. LHS part is equal. So we can equate the RHS part. So RHS of equation 1 is 180 degree minus angle A equal to RHS of equation 2, 180 degree minus R1 plus R2. So here you have 180, 180 will cancel, negative, negative will cancel. Then we are left with angle A is equal to R1 plus R2. Okay, so let this be our equation number 3. Now consider another triangle, that is triangle QMR here. So which is triangle QMR? See, this is the point M. M is the point where the incident ray and the emergent ray are made to intersect. Okay, so this is M. Okay children, M. Then consider angle QMR. Which is QMR? This angle QMR. Okay, QMR. Now again, for triangle QMR, this angle of deviation is an exterior angle, right? For angle QMR, this angle D is an exterior angle, and you know exterior angle will be the sum of two interior angles. So here let this be the interior angle, and let this be our next interior angle. So this interior angle, let it be 1, and this interior angle, let it be 2. Okay, so the interior angles are 1 and 2. So we can write 1 plus 2 equal to exterior angle D, isn't it? So here we can write from triangle QMR, exterior angle D or delta is equal to angle 1 plus angle 2. Now what is angle 1? See, this is angle 1. You know this whole angle is I. So this whole angle will be I. Okay, and if we subtract R1 from this I, you will get 1. So here 1 is angle I minus R1. And similarly here, this angle is E. So this all angle will be equal to E. That is opposite angles. So opposite angles will be equal. So if this is E, then this angle will be E. That means 2 plus R2 will be equal to E. If 2 plus R2 is equal to E, then what is 2? 2 is equal to E minus R2. Okay, so 1 is E minus R1 and angle 2 is E minus R2. So just substitute these expressions here. So we can write D is equal to angle 1, and angle 1 is I minus R1 plus angle 2 is E minus R2. Okay, now here we can do one substitution, not substitution, just rearrange. We can write I plus E together minus R1 plus R2. Okay, so this is angle D, and again D is equal to I plus E minus. See, from equation 3, what is R1 plus R2? R1 plus R2 is angle A. So here we can, instead of R1 plus R2, we can write angle A. Okay, so angle of deviation is I plus E minus A. This is the expression for angle of deviation A. Okay. Children, so we got an expression for D. Angle of deviation D is equal to I plus E minus A. Now, it's time to discuss the relation between angle of deviation D and angle of incidence I. And this relation can be well explained by plotting a curve or graph between angle of incidence I and angle of incidence D. And this graph is known as ID curve. So what is ID curve? ID curve is a graph where angle of incidence I is plotted along x-axis and angle of deviation D is plotted along y-axis. And the variation of angle of deviation with respect to angle of incidence is plotted in this graph. So what is the deviation? What is the relation? See, as angle of incidence increases, angle of deviation at first decreases. See, angle of deviation decreases when angle of incidence increases, and finally it decreases and reaches a minimum point. And after this point, again if angle of incidence is increased, angle of deviation starts to increase. Okay, so what is the relation? At first, angle of deviation decreases, reaches a minimum value, and further increase in angle of incidence causes an increase in angle of deviation too. So at this point, where angle of deviation is minimum is known as angle of minimum deviation. So the value of angle of deviation corresponding to this minimum point is known as angle of minimum deviation DM. And at which situation this point is reached? This point is reached when angle of incidence becomes equal to angle of emergence. Angle of emergence is the angle between emergent ray and normal. So when angle of incidence is equal to angle of emergence, the angle of deviation takes the minimum value and it is the angle of minimum deviation. Also, at angle of minimum deviation, the refracted ray will be parallel to the base of the prism. See, as we discussed, see, this is the incident ray and this is the refracted ray, and this refracted ray is parallel to the prism at minimum deviation position. Okay, so at minimum deviation position, what are the changes? The angle of deviation D will be angle of minimum deviation. Angle of incidence will be equal to angle of emergence. Only at this situation, this angle of minimum deviation occurs. Also, the two angle of refraction, that means R1 will be equal to R2. And it is very clear from the previous figure. You can just refer that figure. And in the previous derivation, we got an expression, that is angle A is equal to R1 plus R2. So at minimum deviation position, what will be angle A? At minimum deviation position, angle A is equal to, since R1 is equal to R2, we can equate both the quantities to a common value R. R1 plus R2 will be equal to R plus R, that is equal to 2R. Okay, so at minimum deviation position, A is equal to 2R, then R will be equal to A by 2. So this is the case at minimum deviation position. And again, we got the relation, that is D equal to I plus E minus A. So at minimum deviation position, D is dm. So we can write dm is equal to I plus A. You know that at minimum deviation position, I is equal to E. So I plus E can be written as I plus I itself minus A. Okay, that is equal to 2I minus A. 2I minus A. And from this you got 2I is equal to A plus dm. Isn't it? Just take this minus A to the LHS part, so it will become plus A plus dm. Then from this, what is I? I is equal to A plus dm by 2. So this is the expression for angle of incidence for minimum deviation position. And this is the expression for angle of refraction for minimum deviation position. Angle of refraction R is equal to A by 2. Angle of incidence I is equal to A plus dm by 2, where dm is the angle of minimum deviation and A is the angle of prism. Okay, children, now it's time to derive the refractive index of prism. So we got the expressions for I. I is A plus dm by 2. And we also got the expression for R. It is A by 2. Now we can easily substitute this I and R in our Snell's law. So what is Snell's law? Snell's law is sin I by sin R is equal to refractive index N or mu. So in some books, mu is used to denote the refractive index. Just substitute the expressions for I and R here. So whenever you substitute I and R in equation 1, you will get sin of I is A plus dm by 2. So A plus dm by 2 by sin of R. R is A by 2. A by 2 is equal to N or mu. I am using mu here. So this is the expression to find out the refractive index of a prism. Okay. Mu is equal to sin A plus dm by 2 by sin A plus 2, A by 2. For thin prism, this angle of deviation A is very, very small. So for thin prism, we can apply small angle approximation. So what is small angle approximation? For small angle approximation, sin theta is approximately equal to theta. So here sin of A plus dm by 2 is approximately equal to A plus dm by 2. Sine A by 2 is approximately equal to A by 2. So we can write A plus dm by 2 by A by 2 equal to mu, and this 2 and 2 will be cancelled. So we are left with A plus dm divided by A equal to mu. Okay, so you will get mu is equal to A plus dm by A, and bring this A to LHS. So you will get mu A and bring this A to LHS. So mu A minus A equal to dm. Therefore, angle of minimum deviation dm is equal to A into mu minus 1. So for a given prism, this angle of minimum deviation is proportional to angle of prism. That means for thin prism, angle of minimum deviation is proportional to angle of prism. So thin prism does not deviate light much because A is very less for thin prism. So angle of minimum deviation also will be very less. Hence thin prism does not deviate light much. Okay. So that's all about the refractive index of a prism. This expression is very important. This is for thin prism and this is for normal prism. Children, we had already discussed the expression for refractive index of prism. Now it's time to discuss about the dispersion by prism. Dispersion, you know, the splitting of light into its component colors is dispersion, and you had already studied about the dispersion of white light and dispersion of white light by a prism, and also the experiment performed by Newton to prove this dispersion of light. You had studied, that is, if suppose this is a prism and whenever white light passes through a prism, it splits into different component colors. Okay, and that colors forms our VIBGYOR, right? VIBGYOR. And you have learned, that is, the red color deviates least and the violet color deviates most. So maximum deviation is suffered by violet color and minimum deviation is suffered by red color. Why is it so? What could be the cause for this different angle of deviation for different colors? So earlier people thought that splitting of light was a magical phenomena, but later Newton performed an experiment and he took two prisms and he kept the second prism in an inverted position with respect to the first prism, and he proved the dispersion of light. Okay, so here what is the cause for this splitting? You know, white light has different colors in it, and each color has its own wavelength, right? The wavelength of red is maximum. On the other hand, the wavelength of violet is minimum. So each color has its own wavelength. Because of this different wavelength, each of this color deviates with different angle of deviation. As a result, all colors are deviated at different angles. The refractive index of prism varies with lambda. This relationship was found by Cauchy, and he gave us a formula which is known as Cauchy's formula. The formula states that refractive index mu is equal to A plus B by lambda square, where A and B are constants, and from this relation it is clear refractive index is inversely proportional to lambda square. Okay, so for the colors with maximum wavelength, refractive index will be less. And you know, our angle of deviation depends upon refractive index as per this formula. Angle of deviation dm is equal to mu minus 1 into A. So angle of deviation is proportional to refractive index. If refractive index is less, angle of deviation will be less. If refractive index is more, angle of deviation will be more. So For those colors having maximum wavelength, refractive index will be less. So naturally the angle of deviation will be less. And red color has maximum wavelength. So as per this equation, its refractive index will be less. And as per this equation, if its refractive index is less, then its angle of deviation will be less. Okay. And on the other hand, if you consider violet color has minimum wavelength. So if wavelength is minimum, refractive index mu will be maximum and angle of deviation also will be maximum. So violet deviates the most and red deviates the least when white light enters the prism. Okay, so this is the cause for dispersion of white light. Different colors have different wavelength. Okay, children. So with this, I am concluding my session. Notes of the topic and YouTube video have been uploaded. We will meet in the next session. Till then, take care all of you. Stay home, stay safe. Thank you.